it's Jordan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be wrapping up both my winter break as well as my January reading month. So I've got a ton of books to talk about. So let's go ahead and check in with my very ambitious winter break TBR and see how I did. So even though I only read 2 books off of that very long list, I still had a really great reading month. I read 9 full-length novels and 2 shorter novella story type novels. So let's go ahead and get into the first book that I read, which was back in December, The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I actually really loved this book. It made its way into my top favorite books of 2015. It has to do with these kids who live in a house together. They all have different abilities, and they use those abilities to help the FBI with different cases. Oh my gosh, this was amazing. I read this book in one sitting. It kept me up until like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was hyperventilating while reading the book. It was one of those books where you're like, oh my god, what's happening? What's gonna happen? The author of the series is a psychologist. She's been to school for it, so she's very well informed on this topic. This felt very realistic from like the crime profiling aspect. Then she threw in the twist with the superpowers. Never read something like this, and I really loved it. It was so good. Next, I finished Quidditch Through the Ages. This was just a nice little supplement to the series. If you're a really big fan of Harry Potter, I'd recommend this. It wasn't anything outstanding, but I feel very well versed in Quidditch now since I read the textbook. I wish all of my textbooks were this short. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, didn't blow me away. And the last book that I read for 2015 was Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Guys, this book, oh my gosh. I don't have words to describe this book. It is a fantastic sci-fi story told with like these documents and case files. It's a very unique way to tell a story. This had to have taken so much planning on the author's part and a whole lot of creativity because the way they did it was perfection. I actually filmed an entire non-spoiler review on this book, so if you want to hear my in-depth thoughts, I will link the review down below. This was one of my favorite books of last year as well. I'm so excited it's the first in a series because I need more. I need more of this. So much more. This was not enough. Not nearly. Next, I picked up The Evolution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin, and I buddy read this with Trina in between chapters. I filmed a whole, very long review, rant, discussion video on this book. I will link that down below if you'd like to check it out and hear crackpot theories about this series, because that's basically what the video, I should have called it Crackpot Theories on the Mara Dyer series, because that's really all it is. This was a really great second book, in my opinion. These are the most gripping stories. Even though they're incredibly confusing and a little bit hard to follow, the actual way it's written is more written like a contemporary book, not so much a thriller mystery novel, so they read really quickly. Plus, I think the mystery drives you, and it's just one of those series that's really great to hypothesize and theorize and dissect, and I love that. Next, I picked up The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I loved it. I really loved this. I found it to be kind of hard to get into, kind of like really thrown into the story. There's no real preamble. They're just kind of like thrust into this world and expected to sink or swim. And I had a hard time connecting with Cassie, but I eventually came to really appreciate her as a narrator, and I really liked her. And by the time that I was rooting for her, we changed points of view. This is a multiple point of view story, and nobody tells you that. I was confused when I like turned the page, and I thought it was just like another part in the story, and it ended up being from a completely different character's point of view. And I was like, I don't care about this person. I want Cassie back. We do get Cassie throughout the rest of the novel. Oh my gosh, Evan Walker. He is officially inducted into the Boyfriend Hall of Fame. I love him so much. He's creepy and weird, kind of a stalker, but I don't even care. I like him just like that. Another one of those books where the ending like gives you heart palpitations and you're like, ah, what's happening? And you're kind of freaking out a little bit on the inside. I like books that do that. After that, I picked up Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This one I liked not as much as the first one. I still really enjoyed it. This one didn't keep me in as much suspense. I wasn't as terrified of this particular crime as I was the first one. This one you do get to learn a little bit more about the actual characters. After that, I picked up The Retribution of Mara Dyer, and I buddy read read this one with Trina as well. This book, guys, I still think about this book, and Trina and I are still talking about this book. I loved how this series ended. Absolutely loved it. There's a particular plot line in the series that I really liked and I latched onto, and that's not the plot line that ended up being the resolution, but I really like the resolution once Trina explained it to me. It has some really intense literary themes in it. This was a little over my head, personally, but she broke it down and explained it to me, and I just grew to appreciate this so much more. If I didn't have Trina to explain this to me, I would not have gotten what I got out of this book. Told me kind of what the author's intention was with the series, and then I was mind blown. So impressed. Michelle Hodkin is a genius. She really buckled down in this last book. It was more about answering all the questions and solving all the mysteries that she had given us in the first two books, and I appreciated that because there were so many loose ends, and she tied them up, I think, pretty well. I don't think I have any outstanding questions that I felt she lacked to answer. After that one, I finally finished Ice Like Fire by Sarah Rosh. It only took me since October when I picked this up. I actually decided to restart it from the beginning. So I did find the beginning portion to be slower. Focuses more on the characters and the fallout after book one, which is fine. It expands upon the characters, but I like a more plot-driven story, to be honest. I'm discovering if I seriously would have just started from where I had last put this book down, literally within 5 pages, shit hit the fan. Oh my gosh. The ending of this book saved this book for me. Can I just have book 3 now, please? I need it. I do have problems with it, but like the ending overshadowed all of my problems, and I'm over them now. I don't care about the problems. I still just love this. After I finished Ice Like Fire, I picked up the prologue, Icicles Like Kindling, which Sarah Rosh published as an e-document. You can get it on Scribd. I think that's where I read it, was Scribd. It's only like 30-ish pages. It takes place a couple months before Snow Like Ashes, but there's a flashback in it of when Maria is 10. There is a character who is referenced a couple of times in Snow Like Ashes, and her story is fleshed out in the prologue, and it was good. It wasn't anything spectacular. I don't think that you have to read it to understand the series. The next book I picked up was Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. This was a letdown for me, and that saddens me so much because I was so excited and I really liked the concept. And I just feel like the first 3/4 of this book hinder what the book is trying to do. The ending really did deliver what I wanted, which is why it got a 3.5 stars as opposed to like a 1 star. I do have a full non-spoiler discussion review on this book. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. One of my resolutions for this year was to reread my favorite series. So I decided that once I finish all of my TBR books, I'm allowed to reward myself with one of my favorites. I felt like I did pretty good this month. I decided to reread City of Bones, and oh my god, I loved it. I forgot how much I loved these books. Like, I really forgot how freaking amazing these books are and how funny they are. I knew that they were funny, but I forgot how funny. And I also forgot why I love Jace so much. Upon rereading it, I do see some faults. I felt like there were some instances where the story kind of dragged and where things could have been described differently or quicker. Obviously, I've seen the movie more times than read the book. I forgot how different the ending of the movie was upon reading this, because I totally forgot like the whole ending of this book. So this was like almost reading it for the first time. Forgot so many details. It was just beautiful and it made me so happy, and I cannot wait to read City of Ashes. Lady Midnight could not be here quick enough. Like, I need it now. So if I can get all these in the shot, these are all the books that I read over my winter break and throughout the month of January. I was so productive. I mean, look at this. Have you ever seen me hold up this many books for a wrap up? No. And mind you, only these 3 were from last year. So I still read all of these in January. I'm so proud of myself. If you've read any of these books, tell me down below what your thoughts were, if you liked them, if you didn't. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye! So I was editing my wrap up for January, and I realized I forgot to mention something really important. So next week is the anniversary of my first official year here on BookTube, and I wanted to do something fun to celebrate, commemorate the occasion. So I was thinking about doing a question answer style video. However, I forgot to tell you that I wanted you to ask me questions. This is me saying to you that If you have any questions for me, it could be book related, it could not, I mean, whatever. Just put them down in the comments below, or you can tweet me. The link is right below here. And there will also be a fun surprise at the end of the video next week, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Bye!